Hey, what's up? It's Breyonna. So today we're going to be testing out the brand new Jaclyn Cosmetics complexion products, and let's just say I haven't tried much from Jaclyn. I've only tried her under eye brightening powder and I absolutely love it. I have the shade Brightening Lilac and it is so nice underneath the eyes. So when I saw these, I was like, girl, these are totally my thing. I love a good skin tint right now and also a really nice coverage concealer underneath the eyes. So I literally made an alarm to get these right when they launched at Ulta. But I will say before we jump into this video, this is not my first time using these. I did do a first impression over on my TikTok page, and if you'd like to check it out, I'll have it linked in the description box down below for you. And also, if you'd like to follow me over on TikTok, it's at BreyonnaFade, just like it's spelled here. But let's just say these were not my favorite products. They were a hot mess, but I was like, you know what, we should try it out again, you know, after getting this new knowledge and seeing maybe if there's some like tips and tricks to make them work better. But again, it was kind of a hot mess ordeal. Like, things were really not like sinking in, the concealer was getting chunky and nasty, and I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it because I really want to love these, but I didn't have the best first experience. So the first thing that we are going to be testing out is the Skin Perfecting Blurring Tint. I got shade Fair, which I believe is the lightest shade, that is a little bit more on the pink side. And like when I first applied this to my skin, in my TikTok, I'll try to put it like here so you can see what I'm talking about, but when I applied it with my hands, it just would not melt in. It just kind of like pilled almost. Like it just kept on like moving around and not going into the skin, and like it just kind of sat on top. It was just really not cute, and it was really hard to work into the skin at that. But today I thought we would do one side of my face using my hands and then the other side using a dampened sponge. I do not have any primer on, moisturizer, nothing. I've only cleansed my skin, and also last night I did shave my face with a little bit of moisturizer just to get rid of all that peach fuzz to see if that makes a difference. One thing I really appreciate about this is that it has an airtight pump to it, which I feel like is just going to keep the product really nice and fresh for a lot longer. And if you're like me and you have a lot of foundations in your collection, I think that's just a really nice touch. But I'm going to apply about yay amount to the back of my hand, and again, I really love the shade of this. And also, like, consistency wise, it's a little bit more of like a whipped kind of texture. I don't know if you can see, but it's very kind of like fluffy. But what I'm going to do is just dab it all over my face. And if you're wondering what this red patch is right here underneath my skin, it's like when I get warm, sometimes my skin just gets like really red. But again, we're going to apply it with my hands here. But do you see what I mean? Like, it gets like this streaky situation where it doesn't want to melt in. You really have to work it in. And I'm trying to avoid my under eyes for the concealer. But you can see, like, it's just like a streaky mess for some reason. And then what I'm kind of doing is like tapping out the edge with my finger. Again, I don't have like anything going on underneath of this, and I just cleansed my face a couple minutes ago. Well, I shouldn't say a couple minutes ago, but maybe like 20 minutes ago. Yeah, like you can see, like it's almost like it's peeling off my forehead the more that I like work it in, which is really weird. But again, like, I love this shade match. Like, this is by far like one of the nicest shade matches I have used in a hot minute, especially for a skin tint. After it's worked in, I think it looks a little bit better. But you can see, like, it's really like chunky around my nose, and it like sits in my smile lines a little bit weird. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but I have like these little dry spots from my little acne patches right here, as well as over in here. And it's like clinging onto them really weird. So on the other side, I'm just going to apply it with my dampened sponge from Juno & Co. You know, I do prefer it applied with a sponge. You know, just initially. Like, I feel like it's melting in a lot better. Like, it's not doing that like weird like streaky situation right away. It's really just like pressing it in. But yeah, like, to me this sponge is just like melting it in like butter. Again, it does look a little bit streaky and patchy with the formula, but I feel like it's melting it in a lot better. I'm just going to use whatever's left and kind of go between my brows. So this is the side with the sponge, and you can see it just melted it in a lot better, but again, like, it's almost like it's sitting on top of my skin, especially like right in here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Like, I don't have any dry spots on this side, but it's like sitting weird right here, and like the nose, I mean, just, oh, like the nose is just not looking cute. Like, it's very like clingy, and it just looks very patchy on the nose. Keep in mind, it is a skin tint, so your skin is definitely going to peek through with it, and you are going to see some redness. But again, I just don't like that it's sitting on top of the skin kind of weird. But my forehead is looking a lot better with the sponge side. Because I mean, if you look at this side with my hands, you can see it almost looks more patchy and just more like unblended looking. And also like my forehead, it's almost like it's like peeling off like right in here a little bit. And one thing I will note though is normally with your hands you can get better coverage, but for some odd reason, like I feel like I'm not getting as much coverage with it using my hands. Like you can see, like my skin almost looks like it's peeking more through on this side rather than the side that I use my sponge. Now keep in mind, this is a blurring skin tint, and I don't see a blurring effect with the side that I applied with my hands, but the side that I applied with the sponge I think does have a little bit of it going on, especially like right in here. Like I think from a distance it kind of has like a micro kind of like airbrushed effect. Like it's not like a medium coverage kind of foundation where it does that, but I feel like my skin is looking a lot nicer on this side. And you can even see like right here, like this little shadow, you don't see on this side of my face as much. Now keep in mind, this skin tint is fairly up there in price. It is $34, and one thing that really kind of like surprises me is that with that price point, it doesn't have any like skincare ingredients to it, nor does it have any SPF. Like I would expect for a skin tint, you know, a lighter coverage product to have something, you know, like hyaluronic acid, something to make it really hydrating, and let alone, you know, having like some SPF in it, because normally, you know, more expensive skin tints do have that kind of thing in them. So that really surprised me with this one. So let's talk about the Perfecting Concealer, and I got shade Fair's Pink, and I believe that this is the lightest shade with the pinkiest undertone to it, but like this concealer is one of the weirdest concealers I have ever used like in my life of doing makeup, because this is one of those ones, so I applied a little bit underneath this eye, then the next, and then went to grab my sponge to buff it out, and it was already dried down to the point when I started blending it out, it just would not move. So this time around, what I'm going to do is apply it and then blend it out, then go to the other side, apply it, and then blend that side out, just to see if that makes a difference or not. Now this is marketed to be a medium to full coverage concealer, so I'm just going to apply a little bit. I'm somebody that doesn't like a lot of concealer, and normally I do wait a little bit for it to dry down, but again, this one, you see what I mean? Like it's almost like instantly drying down, and it just does not want to blend. Why is it doing it this way too? Like I literally just applied it and grabbed my sponge. Like you just saw me do that. Like you see what I mean? Like it's just like grabbing on funny. Like what? This is what was happening last time, but it was just a little bit worse because it did have more time to dry down. I am going to apply a little bit more, like right there. Now this concealer is supposed to have a matte finish too. Yeah, like it's like grabbing onto my under eye, so weird. Keep in mind, like this concealer is really expensive, like it's $26. Yeah, like you can see it's almost giving me like these like fine lines underneath my eye too. But what I'm going to do is apply a little bit more, because apparently more is more, but let's hope that this can kind of help it out. Like, I'm just so surprised that these products are acting like this. Because, I mean, Jaclyn is somebody that has been in the community for a very long time. And she uses, like, you know, the creme de la creme products. So I'm just so surprised that, like, this concealer is having this hard of a time blending out. So I don't know why it's acting like this. It feels like there's, like, no quality control. Because I thought maybe, like, the concealer, it was my fault that I didn't buff it out right away. Like, I should have just done one side and then the other. But this is so weird. Like, I'm instantly applying it, and then we're just gonna buff it out. Yeah, like, it's like grabbing funny. I did apply a little bit more on this side, and I feel like when I applied more, now it's a little bit easier to blend out, but it's still grabbing on weird to my fine lines, and almost it's making my skin look a little bit textured underneath my eyes too. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's going in those like fine lines and just really emphasizing them. So again, this is the side that I applied the skin tint with my hands, and you can see like my under eyes are looking so textured, and it's like almost like emphasizing the lines I have underneath my eyes too, and making my skin look a little bit more aged than it is. Keep in mind I'm 26 years old, but still, like, it's just making my under eye look so weird and like crepey. And also on this eye that I applied the skin tint with the sponge, you can see like the concealer is like emphasizing this little bag I have going on. And again, like, it's just making my skin look so odd. Like, I'm used to concealers being like the saving grace of a look and really just like bringing it back and making everything look better. So it's really weird that a concealer is doing me like this. And also, like, I'm somebody that doesn't have dark under eye circles, and even though that this concealer is a medium to full coverage, you can still see them peeking through right in here, which I don't know how I feel about that. So I just applied the rest of my makeup off camera. I did use a little bit of the Tarte Ultra Creamy Shape Tape underneath my eyes to help kind of like fix the concealer, because I do want to go places and get some errands done after filming this, and the under eyes were just not it. So after trying everything a second time around, let's talk about it. And first, let's talk about the skin tint. And again, I love the packaging. It's very on brand for Jaclyn. It looks very bougie and extra. And also, I like that it has that airtight pump in here, because again, it's going to keep that product fresher for longer, which I do appreciate, especially as somebody that has a lot of foundations and skin tints, and I just don't go through them that fast. So having this kind of packaging is really nice. Now the thing though is that this is a $34 skin tint, so it is definitely up there in price. And my biggest gripe about it is that it doesn't really have any skincare benefits to it. You know, it doesn't have like SPF 30, if not 50, which I would have expected with a price point like this for this kind of product. And also, like, it just does not look good on my skin. Like, it's sitting on top, it looks very textured and cakey. And also, like, it's making my skin look a lot older and more mature than it is the best way to put it. Like, it's giving me like this fine line situation that I don't normally have. And it looks a little bit funny, like, around my nose. And keep in mind, I've had this on for an hour. Especially on the side that I applied it with my hands. Like, I mean, just look at that nose, just ugh. So I went on Ulta's website, and there are 12 shades with this. And again, I don't think that's bad, especially with a more like lighter coverage sheer type of product, because again, the shades are a little bit more flexible. But apparently this contains beta-glucane to help visibly improve skin tone, while sodium hyaluronate helps draws in moisture and hydration. It's a little bit of some like grammar issues with that, but again, doesn't really have like those skin loving ingredients that I'm used to seeing in lighter coverage products. And I just looked, there's no SPF in here. It's just supposed to give you a sheer coverage that helps to smooth and blur the skin's appearance, which I personally don't think it does. Now, one thing I think is really weird is that this doesn't have the trials that the concealer had on Ulta's website. Like, I don't see them. Like, on the concealer, it'll say like 100% of people in this study said XYZ, or in like 98% this, you know, stuff like that. But with this, they didn't include that. As for the Perfecting Concealer, I don't know how to nicely put this, but this is one of the worst concealers I have tried in a very long time. And the reason is because it just does not want to blend out. Like, I literally applied it, like you guys saw me, applied it and then went to blend it out, and it was already dried down to the point I couldn't work with it. And also, like, it just has like this cakey, weird texture underneath the eyes. And I'm somebody that, you know, has normal to dry skin. I don't normally have like texture problems with my skin. And also, like, I can normally wear any type of concealer, like my skin's not picky with them, and this one just made my under eyes look absolutely terrible. Like, I don't know how to nicely put it, but it's like, did people even try this before it was put in production? Because how it made my under eyes look and how it blended out, it just is not it with the formula. Like, again, like the e.l.f. like, Hydrating Camo Concealer is $6, and it works so much better than this one, and this is a $26 concealer. Unfortunately, the only thing I like about these products is the packaging and the shade match. I will say the shade match is really nice on both of them. And I mean, like, you can see, like, I don't have like an orange face compared to my neck. Like, it's a really good match for me. And also, like, the concealer didn't oxidize or apply like way lighter or too yellow. Like, it's the exact same color as it looks in the packaging. In my opinion, the formula just is not it. And I think there's better out there on the market, especially at a cheaper price point as well. And I don't know, it's not for me. But in the comments down below, let me know what you think about these, and if you've tried them, let me know your experience. Did you experience the same things I did, or is it like your all-time holy grail? But before you go though, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and also give this video a like. And if you'd like to check me out over on Instagram or TikTok, it's at Breyonna as well. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!